She didn't just show up, she stormed in, rewrote the seating chart, hijacked the spotlight, and turned a quiet charity gala into a pink draped distraction machine that buried questions nobody wanted asked.
Told the world Meghan Markle is a last-minute addition. She was not invited.
Emma Grede filmed herself switching name tags at her own gala. Not privately, not discreetly, publicly, on Instagram stories. She wanted the world to see it. The founder of the 15% pledge physically rearranging place cards at the last possible second to accommodate a guest who was never meant to be there. And that guest? Meghan Markle, the Duchess who now apparently needs last-minute maneuvering to access rooms she once assumed would open automatically. The footage is brief, devastatingly brief. Emma's hands adjusting the table layout like she's fixing a catering mistake. Only this wasn't a catering mistake. It was a Duchess without a seat. Why would the woman hosting a gala celebrating Black empowerment deliberately show the world that Meghan was added at the 11th hour? Why expose her like that? Why broadcast it? Because this wasn't just an entrance. It was an insertion. The 15% pledge gala is not the Met. It is not the Oscars. For 6 years, it operated quietly, supporting Black-owned businesses without drama. Most people had never even heard of it. And then Meghan appeared, unannounced, unlisted, and suddenly every outlet in America was analyzing her pink dress instead of the actual cause. That timing? It's not random. It's strategic. Because just as Meghan was floating down that green carpet in borrowed blush satin, her name had quietly surfaced in newly released Epstein documents. A yacht photograph from August 2016 placed her alongside Karina Shuliak, a woman closely tied to Jeffrey Epstein during his most notorious years. The image was taken mere weeks before Meghan claimed she met Harry in Botswana. The royal family was fielding Epstein questions that very weekend, and somehow, miraculously, Meghan secured a last-minute gala invite that generated wall-to-wall pink dress coverage and drowned out everything else. Distraction achieved. But let's talk about the dress, because the dress told its own story, and it was not a fairy tale.
Literally begging to be allowed into a D-list event because, let's face it, guys, there were no A-listers, and then she wears that ridiculous dress.
This was not couture crafted lovingly over weeks. This was a loan, a pull, a what do you have in the back situation. Charles Harbison designed it, or more accurately, Charles Harbison lent it, and the photographs betrayed the truth immediately. The hem wasn't cut, it was folded, creased, uneven, fabric bunching at her feet like someone adjusted it in the car ride over. Custom gowns are measured, tailored, studied. This one looked negotiated. The horizontal seam across the torso was catastrophic for her proportions. Any seasoned stylist understands that certain cuts elongate, others compress. This one compressed. It shortened what was already short. It widened what did not need widening. A professional who truly studied her body would never have approved that line. And the sweetheart neckline? It didn't enhance. It flattened. It expanded her shoulders visually. It created imbalance. The entire silhouette screamed last minute. The wrinkles were unforgiving. The fabric pulled awkwardly at the seams. The waist gathered in ways that bespoke panic, not precision. Fashion insiders confirmed it was a single piece secured quickly when attendance was suddenly greenlit. No time for fittings, no time for alterations, no time to care. And beneath it all, those sandals. Again, open-toed, with toes visibly extending over the edge, brushing the carpet with each step. Guests noticed. Social media noticed. Everyone asked the same question: why does she keep doing this? Red carpets require discipline. You protect the line of the gown. You conceal what disrupts the silhouette. Instead, the folded hem drew the eyes straight down, directly to exposed toes dragging slightly with every stride. Any competent stylist would have vetoed it immediately. Either she doesn't have one she trusts, or she ignores them. Neither option is flattering. But the real spectacle wasn't just the fabric. It was the body language. On that carpet, two powerful women collided, Emma Grede and Meghan Markle. And it wasn't warmth, it wasn't sisterhood, it was calculation. Meghan reached to reposition Emma for photos, a subtle attempt to control the angle, the stance, the visual dominance. Emma pulled away, reclaimed her space. This was her gala, her foundation, her moment. The tension was visible in micro movements. Hollywood relationships are transactional. Emma needed a duchess for press. Meghan needed a room with cameras, mutual use, minimal affection. Neither woman masked it particularly well. And then came the assistant, a poor staffer attempting to smooth the wrinkled gown mid-carpet, doing her job, trying to salvage what Tullering hadn't. Meghan's jaw clenched, her hand cut downward in a gesture unmistakable in meaning, stop. The assistant froze, confusion flickering across her face. She stepped back, dismissed. It lasted seconds, but it revealed everything. This tracks with prior allegations documented in Valentine Lowe's book Courtiers, detailing accusations of bullying during Meghan's royal tenure. Meghan Markle causes an uproar. Staff described impossible standards, explosive reactions, a revolving door of employees. If that is how she reacts on camera, surrounded by photographers, what happens when the doors close? Then there were the photographers themselves. Meghan, over here, not Duchess, not Your Royal Highness, just Meghan. She had reportedly instructed that she be addressed by title. They ignored it. In Los Angeles, unless you are performing constitutional duties, you are just another celebrity hoping for coverage. And here was the irony, attending a gala celebrating Black empowerment while insisting on a British aristocratic honorific rooted in centuries of monarchy. She wants to reject the institution when it burdens her. She wants to wield it when it elevates her. The photographers made their stance clear. In America, titles are decorative. Without Duchess, what remains? Rachel Meghan Markle, former cable actress, a career that peaked pre-marriage, a series of ventures that have struggled to find stable footing. The title is oxygen. Without it, the room feels smaller. She signed the guest book as Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex in careful script, the honorific underlined by deliberate penmanship, because that title is the tether. 2 days before the gala, the 15% Pledge held a family event encouraging children to attend. Emma brought hers. Supporters brought theirs. Meghan did not. The woman who speaks frequently about identity, about biracial experience, about racial justice, did not bring Archie or Lilibet to a Black-centered community event. She materialized for the cameras, not the kids. Attendees noticed. The pattern is consistent. Cameras present, Meghan present. No cameras, no Meghan. Archwell, her foundation, has been criticized for lacking the diversity she publicly champions. Meghan Markle causes an uproar. The optics are awkward, the contradictions glaring. Meanwhile, mainstream coverage focused on the dress. Pink fabric dominated headlines. The yacht photo did not. The Epstein document reference did not. The timeline discrepancy did not. It's almost impressive how swiftly narrative management works when executed correctly. Harry testified in London days before the gala that media has made his wife's life miserable. His tone grave, his expression solemn. Then Meghan stepped onto that carpet glowing, posing, adjusting, smiling broadly. Misery has a curious glow. The dissonance was striking. The gala accomplished exactly what someone needed it to accomplish. Distraction. Pink satin over yacht photographs. Body language over document mentions. Assistant drama over timelines. And for now, it worked. But documents are still being released. Names continue surfacing. Questions accumulate quietly. The pink dress will fade from memory. The yacht image will not. The thing about distractions is that they only work until someone rewinds the tape. Because while the internet was debating sweetheart necklines and sandal etiquette, a far darker conversation was simmering just beneath the surface. And the silence around it felt deliberate. Let's go back to that yacht. August 2016. Meghan Markle photographed on board, sunlit, relaxed, positioned beside Karina Shuliak, a woman deeply connected to Jeffrey Epstein during the years when his social network operated at full velocity. Weeks later, Meghan's love story with Prince Harry would allegedly begin in Botswana. A blind date, a whirlwind, destiny. But timelines matter, and proximity matters. No one is saying a yacht photo proves guilt. That's not the point. The point is the pattern, the orbit, the networking circles, the aggressive social climbing phase Meghan was in at that exact time in Los Angeles. She was attending private parties, cultivating connections, repositioning herself from cable actress to something far more elevated. Then, suddenly, royalty. And now, years later, as Epstein documents resurface and names flicker back into public view, Meghan's name appears in communication logs. Brief, peripheral, but there. And what does she do the very weekend those conversations threaten to gain traction? She materializes at a gala that no one was talking about and makes sure everyone is talking about it. That's not coincidence. That's crisis control. The media ecosystem around Meghan has always operated on a curious frequency. When uncomfortable narratives emerge, softer stories flood the timeline. A lifestyle launch, a fashion moment, a carefully curated Instagram return, a new podcast whisper, a red carpet appearance. It's rhythm, it's choreography. And the 15% Pledge Gala fit the choreography perfectly. But even within the distraction, cracks were visible. Let's revisit the red carpet competition, because it wasn't subtle. Emma Grede is not a background player. She is a business force. Skims co-founder, 15% pledge architect. She moves in circles that are influential without requiring royal association. Yet on that carpet, Meghan attempted to physically guide her, adjust her, position her. It was the smallest of movements, but psychologically enormous. It signaled habit. Meghan is used to being the gravitational center, even at someone else's event. Emma's resistance was swift, a step back, a reclaiming of personal space, a refusal to be managed in her own spotlight. That brief exchange revealed more than any press statement could, because beneath the philanthropy branding, beneath the empowerment slogans, there was tension, transactional necessity, not sisterhood. And then there's Tina Knowles, honored that evening, matriarch, cultural powerhouse. Reports circulated that she was displeased Meghan skipped the earlier family event but appeared for the main gala with photographers flashing. The optics weren't great, and optics are Meghan's entire game. Her public persona is built on curated alignment, aligning with causes at moments that serve her narrative. But alignment without consistency breeds skepticism. 5 years in California. Endless rhetoric about racial justice, yet her own foundation's staffing demographics have been questioned repeatedly. The Montecito bubble she inhabits is among the least diverse enclaves in the region. Her children, described as central to her identity conversations, were absent from a community-focused family gathering that would have organically reinforced those values. Presence for cameras, absence for groundwork. The pattern repeats. And then there's Harry, testifying in London just days prior, painting a portrait of relentless persecution. A wife besieged, a life made miserable by hostile press. Yet across the Atlantic, Meghan was strutting a green carpet, laughing, posing, radiating satisfaction. Two realities, one narrative. If she is drowning in torment, she swims remarkably well for the cameras. This contradiction is what fuels the skepticism. Not conspiracy, not fantasy, contradiction. Because misery rarely coordinates outfits this carefully. And the media's role? That deserves scrutiny too. Every major outlet ran the gala photos, fashion breakdowns, body language analysis, speculation about tension with Emma, detailed commentary on hem length, but not one mainstream interviewer asked about the yacht photo. Not one primetime anchor referenced the Epstein document mentioned. Silence can be louder than accusation. More Epstein documents are scheduled for release. Legal pressure around high-profile associates intensifies. Names that once hid comfortably in address books are resurfacing. If Meghan's involvement is nothing, she should welcome the question. If the timeline is clean, clarity benefits her. Instead, distraction. Because here's the uncomfortable truth, the Duchess brand survives on mystique, on narrative control, on selective transparency. The moment direct, unscripted questioning begins, the scaffolding trembles. Meghan's insistence on her title at that gala was not ego alone. It was preservation. The title insulates. It elevates. It complicates criticism. Criticize a celebrity, it's gossip. Criticize a duchess, it feels political. But in Los Angeles, the photographers reminded her, titles do not command American red carpets. Meghan. They flattened the hierarchy with a single word. And perhaps that is what unsettled her most. Because without the title, without the palace echo, without the royal aura, she becomes simply a public figure navigating scrutiny like everyone else. And scrutiny is coming. The gala will fade. The pink dress will become another archived look. The sandals will join the meme cycle. But the yacht photograph remains time-stamped. The document mention remains archived. The timeline remains tight. And when the next wave of files drops, when more names surface, when more connections crystallize, the distraction playbook may not suffice. For now, she managed the weekend. For now, the headlines favored fabric over files. For now, the conversation centered on toes instead of timelines. But narrative control is temporary, and the internet never forgets. Meghan Markle gatecrashed a gala and commandeered a news cycle. She wore borrowed satin and forced photographers to shout a name she pretends no longer fits. She snapped at staff, sparred for positioning, and signed a guest book with a title that grows heavier each time it's invoked. The distraction worked, until it doesn't. And when the questions return, because they will, no hemline adjustment will be enough to fold them away. This story isn't closing, it's gathering. And the next chapter may not be pink at all. There may not be pink at all. There may not be pink at all. There may not be pink at all.